Good morning students. Today we are going to discuss chapter 2 of history and the name of the chapter is New Kings and Kingdoms. Dear students, in previous chapter we discussed that many new political groups became powerful in Indian subcontinent during medieval period. Now the question arises, how they became so powerful? By the 7th century AD, big landlords gained great importance in the kingdoms. The kings declared them as their subordinates or samantas. These samantas collected taxes, brought gifts, and provided military support to their kings. Over time, the samantas became more powerful and declared themselves as independent rulers. For example, Rashtrakutas were the subordinate of Chalukyas. So let's discuss the great dynasties of northern India and Deccan. You can see this map showing different dynasties. The Gurjara Pratiharas and Chauhans ruled over West India. The Palas ruled over Eastern India and the Rashtrakutas ruled over Deccan. So first we will discuss about the Gurjara Pratiharas. The Gurjara Pratiharas rose to power in the area of Rajasthan and Gujarat. The most powerful king of this dynasty was Bhoja I. His empire extended from Kashmir to Gujarat and from Gujarat to Bengal. He captured Kannauj and made it his capital. As he was a devotee of Lord Vishnu, so he adopted the title of Adibraha. The last ruler of this dynasty was Rajyapal. They were the great patrons of art and craft, learning and literature, and they built many beautiful temples also. Next we will discuss about Palas. The Pala dynasty was founded by Gopala. His capital was at Patliputra. Dear students, Dharampala and Devpala, they were the most powerful rulers of this dynasty. They ruled over Bihar, Bengal and some parts of Orissa and Assam. They were the great patrons of learning and religion. As they were the followers of Buddhism, so they constructed many monasteries. Next we will discuss about the Rashtrakutas. Dear students, in class 6th you have read about Chalukyas of Karnataka. Danti Durg. He was a Samant under the Chalukyas. Over time he declared himself independent and founded the Rashtrakuta dynasty. He was not a Kshatriya by birth. He performed a ritual called Hiranyagarbha, means the golden womb. Dear students, it was thought that this sacrifice or ritual would lead to the rebirth of a person as a Kshatriya even if he was not one by birth. So Danti Durg performed this ritual with the help of Brahmanas to become a Kshatriya king. His capital was at Manyakhet. The Rashtrakutas were great patrons of literature, religion and architecture. The famous Kailash temple at Ellora was built by Rashtrakutas. So next we will discuss about tripartite struggle. Dear students, at that time Kannauj was the most important city in North India because of its strategic location. It had fertile soil and rich in mineral resources. So the Palas, the Rashtrakutas and the Gurjara Pratiharas were involved in a struggle to control over Kannauj. As three parties were involved in this struggle, so it is known as tripartite struggle. This struggle lasted for over 2 centuries and weakened all three dynasties. So next is how they administered the kingdom. The kings had supreme power. They adopted many great titles like Maharaja Adhiraj, means the Lord of the Kings. Tribhuvan Chakravartin means the Lord of the three worlds, but they were helped by the Samantas. In order to run their kingdoms, they collected taxes from peasants, artisans, traders, cattle keepers, etc. But why did the kings collect taxes? They collected taxes to finance their establishment, to construct the temples and to fight wars. Next we will discuss about prashastis and land grants. Now the question is, what were prashastis? Prashastis means in praise of. These were the Sanskrit poems written by Brahmins in praise of kings. They describe the king's achievements, and the kings often rewarded Brahmins by land grants, and these grants were recorded on copper plates. Dear student, this was about module 1, and the remaining chapter we will discuss in module 2. Thank you.